onslaught of Pride content. Ben Shapiro. Guys, Pride Month isn't dead. Let's jump right into it. Oh, we haven't watched Ben Shapiro. Well, let's not jump right into it, I guess. We haven't watched Ben Shapiro in quite a while. I've heard that he's boring now. Or at the very least that he doesn't really appeal to anybody. Certainly not with that beard. But let's take a look.
It's the beginning, okay? This will all come back with a vengeance. Prepare yourself. Like, all the most radical stuff is coming back. And how radical is the left on this stuff? The left is so radical on this stuff that they literally have to print pieces in the New York Times reminding you it's okay to be heterosexual.
It's too loud.
Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of...
Dude, that noise was awful. That was terrible. I'd rather listen to people scratch a chalkboard.
Woke is dead. DEI is dead. Radical LGBTQ, it's done. We're not doing that anymore. Yeah, that's all going to come back. I'm just warning you, it's all coming back.
Well, of course it is.
If you think it is gone, that the Trump presidency buried it, wrong you are. It will be back in approximately 0.7 seconds. That is how long it will take. As evidence, I present to you the renewed joy.
Okay, I feel like I've mentioned this before. Would it be untoward of me to make a Ben Shapiro plush? Like, listen, I'm not saying that I like him. I'm just saying he's a very plushable guy. You can like throw him at the wall and shit, you know? I'm just saying it would be fun to, it'd be fun to toy around with, so to speak.
Of Pride Month. Yes, that's right. It's back. It's June, which means that we are going to get nothing but rainbow flags and homages to trans politics for the next month. From some of the world's most bizarre people, by the way. The UN Refugee Agency, the UNHCR, put out a tweet, quote, during Pride and every day, LGBTQ, IQ, plus, where'd the intersex, I guess? They're adding new letters again. Refugee rights are human rights. No exceptions, no compromises.
LGBTIQ. Shouldn't it be QI? Like, this is why I just say queer now.
No discrimination, except for, you know, the 150 countries that the UN completely ignores when they chuck trans people off of buildings or hang them. Except for that. I love the UN.
I don't think the UN necessarily ignores that. It's just like you can't fix it everywhere all at once, you know? Like, you can't just march in and be like, okay, none of you guys can be homophobic anymore. You know, like, they're sovereign countries. In an ideal world, you could maybe like intervene somehow and say, well, no, you're not allowed to have that kind of law. But we don't live in that world. You know, the UN doesn't have that kind of power, I don't think. If the United States, what are you going to do? Like, march it? Like, there are people who are willing to die for that belief. It's a lot more complicated.
Refugee Agency, which, again, works alongside the UNRWA, which is like the Palestinian Refugee Agency, which does the work of Hamas, which chucks gay people off buildings. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. Zoran Mamdani, who, when he is not marching in solidarity with radical Islamists, is marching...
You cannot be against genocide and in favor of gay rights. It's impossible, guys. Did you know that?
...in solidarity with radical trans, put out a tweet, quote, it would take...
By the way, I love how they always use the visual imagery of throwing gay people off of buildings. It's very specific, and it makes me think that they're just jealous. It comes off as jealousy, in my opinion.
Or more than a month to honor the contributions of queer and transgender New Yorkers. Would it? I don't know. How fast are we moving through every contribution? Like, on a proportional level. See, here's the thing about history months. I don't like them in general. I don't think there needs to be a Jewish American History Month or a Black History Month or a Gay History Month. We have this thing. It's called history. It is where we learn the things that are important that have happened in the past. And we don't have to affirmative action history. We don't have to.
I think in an ideal world, he's not wrong. Like, in an ideal world, we wouldn't need to like recognize specifically the contributions of gay people, because being gay would just be something seen as neutral. You know, like, I can't think of any gay historical figures right now because of how homophobic I am, but like, take a gay historical figure and just talk about like what he actually, or what they actually did, you know? Like it doesn't need to be about their sexuality, but we live in a world where being gay is looked down upon. And so to find out that certain historical figures were gay or trans or otherwise non-conforming to the heterosexual, the straight, the cishet binary, I guess, is cool. You know, it's affirming. And I think that there's some use to that, some benefit to that in a transphobic and homophobic world. In a non-transphobic, non-homophobic world that Ben Shapiro does not want, maybe we could like start to phase that out. Sure. Freddie Mercury, there you go. The king of the gays.
It turns out that
the queen of the gays
were important, regardless of their sexual orientation or their desire to dress up as women or their religion. Like, you can just do history. We could just do that and we could get rid of all this stupidity. But Mamdani says it would take far longer than a month. From the Circle Hermaphroditos in 1895, the first trans advocacy group in the U.S. I feel like we could, I don't know. I feel like we could have done all of human history without ever mentioning the Circle Hermaphroditos. I don't feel like that's wildly discriminatory. There's a lot of stuff that happened in human history. I think if we're going to list it top to bottom, as might be said by James Talarico.
But you're ceding the point, because that's his point, is like there's so much of this shit to talk about that it couldn't possibly be spoken of in just a month's time. History is learned throughout the course of one's life, and the longer time goes on, the more history there is to learn, as it turns out. So like, yeah, that only cedes the point, right? I don't know what the Circle Hermaphroditos did. Why don't we find out? Let's do a little education. The Circle Hermaphroditos was the first known informal transgender advocacy organization in the United States, founded in 1895 in New York City to unite for defense against the world's bitter persecution. The group first met at Paresis Hall, also called Columbia Hall or simply The Hall, which was a center of homosexual nightlife in New York City. There, male sex workers would solicit men under an effeminate persona. In a time when cross-dressing was socially unacceptable and a punishable crime, places like Paresis Hall provided a place where self-described instinctive male impersonators, androgynes, queens, fairies, or Uranians could gather and feel more free to express themselves and socialize with similar people. These were Victorian era and Edwardian era words with their own nuances of meaning for people who were born male, felt they were at least partly women in mind or spirit, and preferred having sex with men. People who today might call themselves transgender women, non-binary people, or feminine gay men in the language of today's LGBTQ community. See, that's super interesting. That's interesting. Like, why is that less relevant to our historical study than anything else? I think that's very interesting and important. Is Blair White even relevant anymore? When I have to come up with the famous gay people from the past, Alan Turing is the first person that comes to mind. It makes me so upset that he got forcefully transitioned due to homophobic laws. Ouch. Well, now I have to look that one up. Alan Turing, born June 1912, was an English mathematician, computer scientist, logician, cryptanalyst, philosopher, and theoretical biologist, highly influential in the development of theoretical computer science, providing a formalization of the concepts of algorithm and computation with the Turing machine, which can be considered a model of a general-purpose computer. Turing is widely considered to be the father of theoretical computer science. Jeez. And he was trans? In 1952, he was prosecuted for homosexual acts. Okay, so he was gay. Forcefully chemically castrated as an alternative to prison. Jesus Christ. From cyanide poisoning, died age 41. The evidence is also consistent with accidental poisoning. Following a campaign in 2009, British Prime Minister Gordon Brown made an official public apology for the appalling way Turing was treated. Queen Elizabeth II granted pardon in 2013. The term Alan Turing law is used informally to refer to a 2017 law in the UK that retroactively pardoned men cautioned or convicted under historical legislation that outlawed homosexual acts. Damn. So he was a cis man, but he was forcefully, I see what you're saying. He was forcefully, doesn't seem like he was forcefully transitioned. He was just given chemical castration, which is awful and painful. There you go. Alan Turing, father of theoretical computer science, a gay man. Almost like gay people are important to history or something.
List all of human history in order of importance. I'm not sure the Circle Hermaphroditos would list in the top couple of million things that have happened in human history.
How do you even begin to quantify that? I think every bit of human history is important. Everything that has ever happened or ever will happen is important in the grand tapestry of history.
To the drag balls of the Harlem Renaissance. By the way, not the most important thing about the Harlem Renaissance. To the Stonewall Uprising, to the lesbian herstory archives. Wow. Herstory, lesbian herstory. Yeah, huge.
A little liberal.
New York City has long been shaped by queer and trans New Yorkers. To all our queer and trans neighbors, you deserve a city where you can afford to live safely, openly, and joyfully, unless you're a Jew. Happy Pride, New York City, says Mayor Mamdani.
Unless you're a Jew.
Again, what a joy he is.
Okay. Are there any Jews out there watching this that don't feel that can't feel safe in New York? Because I like, to the extent that you don't feel safe, it's not because of pro-Palestinian advocates, right? Like non-Zionist Jews. Are there any like non-Zionist Jews out there that don't feel safe as a result of being Jewish? Or even if you are a Zionist Jew, tell me how you don't feel safe. Tell me what's happened to you that you don't feel safe about. Seriously, I want to hear it.
How many brokers does it take to insure modern business? The answer is, for a lot of companies, I don't know, licensed insurance agency.
Very long.
Meanwhile, Abdul El-Sayed, he is the Michigan Senate candidate. He says, quote, we live in a time when government is being used as a weapon against its own people. A time when all of us who love differently, live differently, pray differently, or think differently are being told we are less than, that we don't belong.
True.
Wow. You're a victim. You're a victim.
What did that next part say? Pride began as a community's fights for its rights. A community's fight for its rights. The right to live and love authentically, the right to speak freely, the right to organize, the right to gather openly, tell the truth about your own life, and demand to be treated with dignity under the law. I mean, that's all true, yeah.
Wow. You're a victim. You're a victim.
Dude, you constantly victimize yourself, right? Like he just victimized himself talking about Jews can't live safely in New York. Conservatives victimize themselves all the time. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it.
It says, Pride began as a community's fight for its rights, the right to live and love authentically, the right to speak freely. Try it in Dearborn, see how it goes for you. Seriously, this guy couldn't even say that it was good when Ayatollah Khamenei was killed. So, I mean, but here's the thing. The left...
I think it's more about the implication. That's the guy who was the leader of Iran, right? Let me make sure I'm not speaking out my ass. Ali Khamenei? Assassination of Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. Okay, I was right. This guy. I think it was more about like the fact that it doesn't fundamentally change anything in Iran, and it also kicked off a war with them. Like, it's not that we're mourning this guy. It's like the fact that nothing really positive came of it. Nothing. Like, what positive things came from killing this guy? Anything? They want to kill people so bad they can't understand how can someone not want to kill people while not wanting other people to kill them. Listen, if killing this guy is like the order of the day when it comes to securing people's rights and making life better for everyone, right? Then maybe you can make an argument to me that that's necessary. But so far, I've seen nothing positive has come from his death. Nothing. That's my contention. You know, it's not about celebrating death. Like, I thought we were against celebrating death anyway. What about Charlie Kirk and all the people who celebrated his death? What, we're celebrating death now? It was good when somebody was killed? I thought we were against that. So we can think it's good when people are killed. I'm just pointing that out. I'm not saying that it was good that Charlie Kirk was killed. I'm not saying that, so don't take this out of context. I'm just pointing out the fact that we have now established that sometimes it's good when people are killed, right? Like, there's a spectrum here.
Here's the thing.
According to Ben Shapiro.
The coalition of the dispossessed, they'll come right back together. It's all going to come right back. If you think it's not, you're out of your mind. In all of its glory, Sesame Street is bringing back the same tweet that it brought back every year for Pride Month.
Good.
Which involves apparently gay Muppets or something.
Good.
I wish I were making that up, but I really am not. It's not like the gay Teletubbies thing. This is like actually, like, apparently they took Oscar the Grouch, Big Bird, Elmo, and they put them in some sort of gay compacting machine. And they smushed them down into this tweet. It's literally just lines of fur of various colors in the rainbow flag. But there is no... It
is kind of funny to think about, like, they threw them into the gay machine, and this is what came out.
Trans triangle here. Discrimination in the Sesame King universe. Happy Pride Month from Sesame Street. Join us in celebrating and uplifting the LGBTQIA+ members of our community, the children. Not great.
Personally, I'm offended that there was no circle there. What does the circle stand for again? The purple circle with the yellow background? Is that non-binary? That's not non-binary. Is it? I do wish Iran would go back to pre-revolution days. It's crazy to see pictures of pre and post-revolution. Have you seen photos of that? No, I have not. Intersex, you think? Well, let's confirm that. Intersex flag. Indeed, it is intersex. Notice, by the way, like the TERFs who say, you guys, this is a hyper-specific contention that I have, but you guys ever been arguing with like a TERF or otherwise a transphobe, and you bring up intersex people, and they're like, you're hiding behind intersex people in order to make your point about trans people. And then like you see that they have a profile picture of them ripping this off of the pride flag, like this part, right? It's like, you don't give a fuck about intersex people. You never have. I'm just pointing that out. But yes, you're the most woke of us all, Federal Kenobi. Good job.
Meanwhile, Magic Kingdom put out a Pride slushie, which basically just looks like a slushie with some rainbow sprinkled. All right.
Okay.
What makes it gay? Is it just like, oh, it's a video.
Pretty gay looking.
Cool.
I would feel kind of like a you-know-what drinking that, you know? A word I would never actually say, of course.
It's a video. Cool. Wow. I do love that the corporations are basically, what if we just took a regular slushie and we just put like a thing on top and just say Pride?
Oh my God, they're selling things to us? That's crazy. I never thought that would happen under capitalism.
More things. All right, but let's be clear. What we now have, it's the beginning. Okay, this
intersex person here saw the image and joined. Welcome in. You're always welcome here.
All come back with a vengeance. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. It's all like all the most radical stuff is coming back.
Everybody except the cishets. Disgusting cishets.
And how radical is the left on this stuff? The left is so radical on this stuff that they literally have to print pieces in the New York Times reminding you it's okay to be heterosexual. Right? And no longer is this about, it's okay to be gay. It's no longer about that. It's like the New York Times. It swung all the way around, and now they have to write an entire op-ed and say it's okay to like people of the opposite sex.
Nobody ever said that that was not okay. Show me somebody who has legitimately said that that's not okay and they weren't being like an ironic piece of shit about it. The hormone treatment did cause feminization of Alan's body. Okay, thank you. So yeah, they did forcibly trans Alan Turing. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Yeah, you tell them that XXY people exist and then they think you're sweeping the entire trans movement when you're asking them a literal question. They don't want to answer because it blows up their argument. Oh yeah, I know. No. They're always like, they always act super offended on behalf of the intersexes. They're like, oh, how dare you? My second removed cousin is intersex. And it's like, you don't care. Like, you think that the intersex flag is woke and gay and shit. Like, what are you talking about? You've never cared. You only care when it comes to hating trans people.
Otherwise, you know, we have to avoid the stigma. We have to avoid the stigma of heterophobia. That's where the New York Times is now. Quote, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. There has never been a better time in human history to happily and successfully pursue heterosexuality, if that is your thing, as it is mine. As straight Americans,
wait, hold on.
Successfully pursue heterosexuality, if that is your thing, as it is mine. As straight Americans, we are in the midst of a period of all but unprecedented sexual, social.
I'm going to say the thing we all already knew and accepted. I'm going to say the thing that literally nobody disagrees with and pretend like I'm being brave. Here I go. Right?
Romantic liberty. We have greater freedom than ever before to become.
Oh boy, here I go saying things that are true again.
Heteropessimism. What the hell? Heteropessimism is at bottom. Again, James Tallarico.
Heteropessimism.
Little more than a bad mood.
Even he's like, what the hell is heteropessimism? Even he cannot take the ridiculous nature of this article. Look at him.
Whom we want. Heteropessimism. What the hell? Heteropessimism.
What? Excuse me? The hell is heteropessimism? What?
Is at bottom. Again, James Tallarico piping up here. Little more than a bad mood about the state of being straight. It is the pervasive sense that heterosexuality is fundamentally flawed and unfulfilling, even structurally unsalvageable. Sometimes heteropessimists argue it's not strictly heterosexuality that is unfulfilling, but the opposite gender itself. Okay, I'm just going to point this out. The only heteropessimists out there are people who are not heterosexual and Andrew Tate's crowd. The Nick Fuentes people who are like, women are all horrible. They're just terrible. The rest of us, heterosexuals, we kind of like women, it turns out.
Even he had to acknowledge that the article was bullshit and it didn't mean anything. Heteropessimism, okay. Yeah, like that definitely like stacks up to homophobia and like literally burning gay people at the stake, right? And throwing rocks at them. And as you have mentioned, chucking them off of rooftops, right? They love to fantasize about that one.
I'm married to one. She's wonderful. It's awesome. But the fact that the New York Times now has to write full-on pieces.
It's awesome. Have I told you that her pussy's literally never been wet?
Trying to defend heterosexuality. That's how far things are going to go.
He has admitted that, by the way. That's not me being crass. He is literally, in Ben Shapiro's own words, okay? He's the one who said it, not me. I'm just pointing that out.
Wet ass P-word.
He had to throw in the Nick Fuentes into her clip. Wait, what?
The Nick Fuentes people who are like, women are all horrible. They're just terrible.
Yeah, he doesn't like Nick Fuentes, even though like they're technically ideologically mostly on the same side. Because Nick Fuentes doesn't like Jews. You can't talk about straight people like that, the New York Times. My romantic partner is straight. I don't understand the joke because your romantic partner can be straight without you being straight. You could be bi. Alec, thank you, Big Jerry. But yeah, not sure if I have much to add here. Ben Shapiro just being an idiot as usual. Also not very interesting, I don't think. I think Ben Shapiro's definitely fallen off. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.